1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. This is SEC College Football. SEC Media Days. Presented by Underwood Jewelers and Southern Steer Butcher on 1010XL.
All right, it's XL Primetime here live in Dallas. We've got Tennessee coach Josh Heupel. Josh, thanks so much for joining us. How you doing, man?
Always great to be on with you guys.
What's this like, man? What's the event like here?
It's obviously watching it on TV. You come here, the energy, the excitement that surrounds every room that you walk into, and anticipation. College football is right around the corner.
As a former player, obviously, these are the things that get you juiced, right? I mean, even as a coach, player, anything.
As a coach, it's on. It's here. SEC Media Day basically means the end of vacation, and it's time to go to work.
I want to ask you all about your football team, but first I want to ask you about you, Peyton, Rick Barnes, your family. You had a big time in Omaha,
and it was awesome.
Was that great?
I mean, for me, like growing up, watching it in old Rosenblatt Stadium.
Yeah.
Fan of college athletics in general, but it was a bucket list item. I told my kids, listen, we're going whenever they're playing for it. And to be able to be there, be in that room with all of those guys, just awesome experience. Be on the field after the ball game, see the players, what Tony's built there. It's really cool. It's a lot of fun to be a part of, and it's a great time to be on Rocky Top. We got dynamic leadership. They're constantly pushing to give us everything we need to be successful, and a lot of fun.
Yeah, you were saying it at this podium, and I was listening. Tennessee's kind of good at everything now. I mean, Danny White has done that. Yeah. I mean, good at everything now.
You look at the success, every team sport in postseason play. I saw a stat. I'm going to assume it was accurate.
Yeah.
But the win percentage of all the major sports, men's and women's side combined, it's not even close, our win percentage versus the next closest.
Wow.
It's just it's an awesome time to be there. It's a great city. It's a unique atmosphere, energy, Smoky Mountains off in the distance, cool college city, but the leadership is elite.
So, Josh, everybody knows what you walked into in Knoxville. It was a difficult situation. 19 wins in the first two seasons. You guys are playing meaningful games in November. But with that, with what you've built, now comes expectations.
Yeah, absolutely. Which the expectations are never going to be higher outside of the building than they are inside. That's why we're working and competing every single day to go be our best. Third in the league in win total over the last 2 years. There's more meat that we got to go take off of the bone. It's been fun through all the things that we had to navigate. Being close to being completely on the other side of that. Roster deeper, just pure numbers, athleticism, all of it. Just continues to give us a chance to continue to get better. And that's why I know our future, as good as it's been, our future is brighter.
Josh Heupel with us, Tennessee coach. I'm going to have to get in line to ask you this because everyone's going to ask you, or already has. But Oklahoma's in the league.
Yeah.
That's got to be neat for you, doesn't it?
Yeah, we get to go there.
You get to play there. That's right. Yeah.
It'll be unique to be on the other sideline, different perspective, viewpoint of from the stadium. But, two great brands that, again, just adding them into this league. This is the best league in college football. Has been. You can look at draft picks. You can look at what it's like to be on the road on Saturday afternoons or evenings. Coaching staff. This college football as good as it gets. That only adds to the depth of this league. It's a lot of fun.
Josh, I was honored to cover that championship game. Coach Spurrier's son was on the staff, and I was on the field afterwards. The joy you guys felt. You were underdogs in the game. Take us back just for a moment. That moment for that national championship moment for you.
Yeah, just a unique culmination of individuals that collectively were good enough to go accomplish something that nobody outside of our locker room thought that we could. And I'm talking about from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. Yeah. And it's a special time. When we were there. I hadn't been to a bowl game for 5 straight years before. I believe it was 5 straight years before before we went and 2 years later win a national championship.
So you talk about you guys are close right now, right? And you know this as well as anybody. At the end of the season, the national championship happens, the team wins, the confetti falls, and the team gets on the stage. Your team the same way. Man, you look on that stage, and there are grown men on that stage. How close are you guys to being at that point right now?
Yeah, you walk through our facility, weight room, you walk by practice, you can see but also feel the difference as you walk by the bodies from where we started to where we are now. And that's just in their makeup and the amount of guys that have that makeup. I'm really excited about where we're going, line of scrimmage, continuing to recruit and add elite players. And, for us, taking the next step as a program is finding a way to win each Saturday,
Josh, tell us about Nico. You've had Hendon Hooker, you've had Joe. Is he like either one of them? Is he different than them? What are we going to see?
Each quarterback has their own identity. It's like an artist. You got to let the artist be an artist and paint the picture the way that he's going to paint it. Now you give him parameters within the confines of what you do offensively and defense structures. You refine their skill sets, but they each are their own artist. And I'm really looking forward to playing and competing with Nico. He's got the ability to push the ball vertically down the football field. He's accurate. He can throw it with different arm angles. Got dynamic feet and the ability to extend and make plays. And that could be running the football. Hopefully more times than not, it's him escaping the pocket and making a play down the field with his arm.
So let me ask you something. An honest question. Why don't more teams do what you do? Why don't more teams put the receivers at the numbers and go and spread everybody out like you and Baylor, the old Baylor days did?
Yeah.
Why don't people do that now?
There's a lot within the confines of what we do. The structure, the nuances, what we put on our quarterbacks. There's a lot more to it, and end of the day, we got to continue to find a way to score +1. Be on the right side of the scoreboard every Saturday this fall. But at the end of the day, we want to apply pressure, and I think doing it in a unique way causes issues for defenses.
Are there more and more teams coming to you now in the off season and trying to pick your brain a little bit?
Yeah, we're not. Nobody's in our.
You don't. you don't even let them in. No?
Those days in college football are done.
Yeah, really. Why?
My opinion. The size of staffs,
right.
The mobility of staffs, and the ever-changing landscape of leagues. Yeah. It's hard, and I'm not sure there's time to do it either. I
get that.
I don't know when you go.
Josh, you've done a great job there. Congratulations on the success to this point. I agree with you. I think it's only going to get better. Thanks for spending some time with us.
I appreciate it. Always great being home with you guys.
Thank you,
Josh Heupel, the Tennessee football coach.
All right, let's go back.
Just happened. Brought to you by Florida Home AC, the official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
All right, we'll hold the big news, but Matty, that did just happen. You got Josh Heupel. I wanted you to make sure that you got him. What did you say, Leon? Get him Get him a cough drop or a splash of brown or something.
He's struggling a little bit. He was struggling a little bit, no doubt.
But real quick, your reaction to what he has up there on Rocky Top, because as you and Frank laid out, Tennessee Volunteer Program right now rolling along in a multitude of sports, and he feels pretty good about what he's got coming back.
He does. They're closer. And he even said that. They're closer. They're better on the lines of scrimmage. They're better at the skill positions. If Nico can be the quarterback they think he can be, I think they've got a chance to do better than the 19 wins that they've had in the last two seasons. In fact, we have a special
guest. We're actually, I'm curious to get her take on Tennessee. Laura Rutledge of ESPN joining us now on XL Primetime, which is so exciting for me to say that once again.
Right.
Although part of why Laura is joining us is she has a special plug for the ladies of Helmets and Heels, so we'll get to that in just a second. First and foremost, thank you for waiting a hot second. We were having fun with fruit with Chris Doring offset, and a pleasure to have you joining us.
It's so great to be with you guys. I'm such a fan of all the work that you guys do, and it's wonderful to be able to talk to you. whatever just happened with Chris Doering over there, I don't know if it's safe for radio, so we're not going to talk about it.
That's why it's going on the 1010XL TikTok.
Please check it out on the TikTok because you don't want to miss his answer for what kind of fruit he would be.
Yes, which is, of
I'm
course,
still trying to recover.
It's in honor of Mike Leach, who once upon a time had a very, I'm not going to say similar, but equally as animated answer. Our good friend, our good friend, the great Mike Leach. So, Laura, let's start kind of springboarding off of Josh Heupel's conversation with Frank and Matt. Tennessee. Let's start with them. From your perspective, you look at this league from a league-wide view, but also you are a Florida Gator. I'm sure for you, there's got to be some emotion seeing what Josh has been able to build up at Rocky Top.
It's been incredible. I mean, we just had him on our set on SEC Network, and I told him that. You've built this into what is one of the preeminent programs, once again, in college football. And our ESPN analytics have him predicted for like a little over 8 wins. I think that's probably realistic, but they could win more games than that if this offense looks like what it could. And with Nico Iamaleava, you see him being a guy that has a ton of potential. Is it, though, a good fit in what Josh Heupel wants to run offensively? So much of it is spread out. So much of it is around speed. You've got all these wide receivers who can do anything. They spread you out, horizontally across the field, but then they make you defend the entire field vertically as well. And so I think Nico's got that skill set, right, just from what we've seen in limited play time and even the spring game. But I'll be interested to see if his arm plays as well as, it could. And then how they use his legs, that extra dynamic of athleticism, I think could be a game changer. The other thing about Tennessee, their defense has continued to improve, but I think their main key, and Josh would tell you this too, their run game. And that, once again, is expected to be good. So I think they're going to be a tough out. Be really fascinating to see him go to Oklahoma in September.
It's funny, Laura, you said, if this happens with Tennessee, then they could be more than you think.
Right.
There's a good group of teams in the SEC right now that if X happens, then Y happens. Texas A&M, Tennessee, you can throw them all out there. Florida's one of them.
Yeah.
You're a Gator alum. What are your thoughts on Billy Napier in year 3, and where do you see this program heading right now?
Well, look, there's no mistake to be made that there's a lot of pressure on Florida right now, and Billy Napier knows that, and this Gator team knows that, but maybe I'm cautiously optimistic, and this is, a little more of the fan in me and a little less of the professional, but I think Graham Mertz is a really good quarterback. I'm not sure he gets enough credit. He is a guy that will run your offense and complete the football, do the things that you want to be done, not make big mistakes. You don't always need somebody who needs to be this super flashy, an Anthony Richardson type, which, by the way, was great at times, then wasn't always as consistent. And we've seen, why he was drafted where he was. But I think Graham has a lot more potential in this offense than we're giving him credit for. And so, look, Florida, I believe they should beat Miami. Let's say they do that. And then they're off to the races, right? And that's a huge win right out the gates. Now, if they don't, it's also kind of okay because it's not an SEC team and there is a 12-team playoff. And I'm not putting Florida in the playoff next year necessarily. I still think they're a little bit away from that. But to me, what will be really key for Gator fans, do we see enough positivity, enough improvement, some games that people don't predict them to win that they win? Maybe there's a couple of those. I think that's enough to say, all right, we're still headed in the right direction, and this is the path we should stay on.
Laura Rutledge of SEC Network and ESPN joining us right here on 1010XL. Matt alluded to, Laura, to a couple of those other teams that if X happens, good things will come from it. Florida's in that clump of teams. Who's your team that emerges by X, Y, and Z happening, and maybe they surprise some folks this college football season?
Yeah, I think it's A&M. And so much of the conversation has been, all right, well, a lot of people are kind of putting them off to the side. Who knows? They did lose a lot of people. It's going to be a different team. It's going to look a lot different under Mike Elko. There's a bit of a rebuild at certain spots, but Connor Wigman may be one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC. And if you look at some of the tape when he's been in there, now that it hasn't been all the time, and there have been times where, he hasn't even had the opportunity. Times when they didn't win the game, but he played really well, and it wasn't necessarily his fault. That guy can sling it, and he's really
this
good.
guy sitting to my right has been his number one fan in
Really?
Jackson.
Okay.
I still say that if he's healthy, I'm not sure they have a new coach right now.
Yes,
I think Jimbo's
agree.
probably still there.
Yeah, which, by the way, this is really no slight toward Jimbo, but I would say getting a new coach and mainly getting an offensive coordinator and a staff that will build an offense around the quarterback instead of forcing a quarterback into your offense, which is what Jimbo did and the previous coaching staff really kind of did. That could be a benefit for Connor Wigman. Like that, as much as yeah, maybe they wouldn't have made a coaching change. It could end up actually being better for him
benefit,
in a lot of
right,
ways.
Right. So, I'm sorry.
No, go for it, Matt. You're good.
You look at Texas and Oklahoma entering the league. You guys did the on-site celebrations.
Yeah.
First off, how cool is that? And how jacked are these fans of those two fan bases to be in this league?
So that was wild. We did the Austin show in Texas, and welcoming Texas, and 4-hour show, 100+ degree heat. The university wasn't sure how many people would show up, so they kind of made it this like open admission. They had a Pitbull concert that was coming on like after us, right? We were all joking. We're like, oh, look, guys, we're leading into Pitbull. Like, we're the openers to Pitbull. Right. Nobody thought of it that way, but we did. And when I tell you guys, like, I don't know, maybe halfway through the show, I look around our stage and I'm like, this place is so full of people. People are like jumping over the barricades, storming, trying to get through. That's how excited they are. I felt like that was a good indication. I get it, it's Pitbull and whatever, but you see the fans.
It's 2024 and Pitbull still getting people jumping over barricades.
Pitbull
it's pretty
is
big
apparently
deal.
A Texas fan now after all that, but you saw the commitment and what a show they could put on when it comes to fanfare and passion and pageantry and all the things that are synonymous with the SEC. I think it's a great fit. I think Texas is really going to contend this year. And then on the Oklahoma side, their welcome was just as big in a lot of ways, and really cool to see them and their traditions coming into the league. One other thing I think is important in all this is we're talking football right now, obviously, but to bring these universities in, you're getting all the sports, right? So the success at so many different levels in softball, in gymnastics, in basketball, both men's and women's, we're getting all of that influx of great success that's now joining our conference. It's really, really cool, exciting times.
Before we let you go, Laura, I do want to sneak a Jaguars question in, but before I do that, because of course we have to as the flagship station, Sprouts, you were very excited to be partnering with them this upcoming football season. Tell us a little bit more about that relationship.
Yeah, it's really cool to see Sprouts be the official grocer of the SEC. And I think one of my favorite things is how they have wrapped their arms around women's sports. And they have said this is an opportunity to promote women, and anything we can do to invest in their careers, not only in college, but even beyond that. That's what Sprouts wants to do. And so to see people care about that, I think means a lot to me and means a lot to the women who are competing day in and day out in college athletics. And then Sprouts is a super healthy spot. There's so many good options. Their sandwiches, their wraps. There's so many great things that you can go and stop by there. And just as a mom of 2 little kids, I'm always looking for healthy options that are also really yummy. So it's the perfect mix. They support women, and they also want to give you some really good food that will keep you healthy.
So on behalf of the ladies at Helmets and Heels, we love to hear women supporting women. Quick question, Jaguars, last time we spoke to you on Helmets and Heels, that was back in April when we first debuted as a daily show. At that point, thank you. At that point, Trevor Lawrence, speaking of congrats, had not been given a $275 million extension. Your initial thoughts when you saw that dollar sign and the expectations for him heading in now to the next 7 years of his tenure in Jacksonville?
Yeah, I think it just ratchets up the expectations that much more, and it's something that he's prepared for. Reality is, last year, I do believe was an aberration for Trevor. I think he was hurt a lot of the time. Some of that's been more public than I think even other ailments might have been. I think he was struggling through just to even get out there, and even at times he couldn't, but we've seen a quarterback who has so much potential, and we've seen him still be developing at the NFL level, and I think what Doug Peterson brings in combination with Trevor Lawrence should lead to a ton of success. I believe if you're a Jacksonville fan and you're looking around saying, man, why, we're paying this guy all this money. I know there's a lot of Jags fans that do love Trevor, but there's probably some doubters. Just think about the other options. Like, Trevor Lawrence is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Now, it's a long list of quarterbacks, relatively, right? But I do think he's the right fit. He's going to be the right guy. I believe he will prove Jacksonville right in the money that they've paid him.
Awesome. She's Laura Rogers of the SEC Network. Laura, thank you so much for giving us time. We appreciate it.
I appreciate y'all. Always great to be with you.
This is XL Primetime on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The First Coast Honda Dealer Studios on 1010XL. Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
We're going to do a little number for you, but remember, we're a bit rusty, so bear with us. Just like the old days.
All right.
Mornings.
Maestro.
On 1010XL.
My little buttercup has the sweetest smile. Do the garter wiggle, 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 garter wiggle.
At
Garber Auto Mall, we can wiggle it. Best price, we can wiggle it. Best trade value, we can wiggle it. Best payment, we can wiggle it. Ford, Chevy, Buick, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, with 8 American brands, we can wiggle it. Visit us in Green Cove Springs or online at GarberAutomall.com. And remember, at Garber Auto Mall, there's always a little room for wiggle.
Garber Wiggle, Garber Wiggle, 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 Garber Wiggle.
What's changed totally inside and out? The Kuhn Flowers massive storefront, and yes, they've totally remodeled the showroom inside too. This is Frank Frangie, and the next time you drive by, stop and smell the roses at Kuhn Flowers.
Right now, you may be running a little late, or feeling stressed, or overwhelmed, and you may be going a bit over the speed limit. So to help you relax, exhale. Ease up on the gas. You'll get there when you get there. Take a moment to just chill. This little break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Spend lunchtime with the ladies.
Hey, where's your sense of adventure?
They don't cook, but they serve up spicy sports talk.
Sure, it's on the menu.
Helmets and heels.
That is a meal.
Switched on by First Coast Lighting and Fans on 1010XL.
Dave and Ammon here with Zero Res. So Ammon, you have worked for Zero Res since you were 9 years old. What makes Zero Res the right choice for cleaning carpets and tile?
I can think of 3 simple reasons. We have the best process, the best people, and our promise to do the best cleaning possible every time.
So what deals does Zero Res offering for this month?
July is National Carpet Cleaning Month. So for home carpet cleaning, we're offering $49 per room, and for businesses, we're offering 20% off.
Sounds like a great time to get your carpets cleaned. Zero Res.
Spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about letting things roll off of your back. So often we can make big deals out of things that are not really big deals. We can allow them to steal the joy of our day. But let me remind you that don't allow anyone or anything to steal the joy of today. Go out today not letting little things steal the big things that God has in store for you.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes, and summer is here on the First Coast. You know, long days, short sleeves, and soaring temperatures that can do a number on your AC. If you've heard me say it once, you've heard me say it 1,000 times. Hope is not a plan, so do what I did and plan ahead with an expert AC tune-up from Fenwick Home Services to avoid those costly summer breakdowns. Fenwick has you covered with same-day service, including maintenance plans, free same-day estimates, and guaranteed repairs. Book your expert tune-up today and avoid costly breakdowns tomorrow. Plan ahead instead of hoping for the best. Online at FenwickHomeservices.com. That's FenwickHomeservices.com.
Hey folks, Curtis Dvorak here. Are you a golfer, a pickleball player, or a concert lover? Well, if you said yes to any of those, join me for the first ever Patriot Games on Saturday, September 21st at the Yards in Ponte Vedra. All proceeds benefit Operation New Uniform, which is a transition training program for service members, veterans, and military spouses. For more information, visit onuvets.org. That's onuvets.org. Hope to see you there.
Hey, it's Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. If you're like me, you're getting crushed by rising costs of everything these days. I get it. It's brutal, and credit card rates are ridiculous and going higher. That's why at Loan Pronto, we launched our Express Equity Line of Credit to bring you the relief you and your family need, using your home, your most valuable asset. We've helped thousands of people like you get fast relief with cash. The average homeowner who does this gets tens of thousands in just days and is able to save $850 per month in overall expenses. I'm talking life-changing money. Your money that you you have access to right now. Listen, if you're ready to get control of your finances and get off the hamster wheel, call Loan Pronto. You can get approved for Express, Equity line of credit in just minutes, and we can get your cash in less than a week. Stop digging a deeper credit card hole today. Call Loan Pronto now. 904-999-1508. 904-999-1508. LoanPronto.com. 904-999-1508.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Bringing the players and coaches of the SEC to you. SEC Media Days. Presented by Southern Steer Butcher and Underwood Jewelers on 1010XL.
All right, we're back on XLP. Joe C. and Leon Searcy back at the mothership. Frank Frangie and I here in Dallas for SEC Media Days. We talk to coaches. We talk to players.
Big now. It's getting big now.
This is my favorite
Those
part
were
of
the
Media
opening
Days every
acts
time.
is what they were.
Every time when we welcome in CD. Chris Doring from the SEC Network. Of course, former Florida Gator All-American wide receiver.
This is a home game for me with my boys.
It is, man, right?
Joe and Leon, they didn't make the travel squad? What's up with that?
No, did not make
Had
the
a bad
squad.
preseason?
Bad week of practice, actually.
That's all it takes, man. We got a big roster, bro.
Well, hey, the budgetary constraints are real these days, too.
They are.
Hey, Carson Beck had a bad week of practice and, lost a job. So just bad week of practice. Do it, man.
How you doing?
I'm good. It's good to be back with you guys, man. It's good to be celebrating another start to an SEC season, and it's kind of interesting being here in Dallas, watching OU and Texas folks walk around. It's definitely an adjustment.
It's odd, right?
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
I want. Listen, I'm old, Chris. Birmingham, Atlanta. It's what old people like old stuff.
You want to kick out A&M and Missouri and go back to how it was. And I think in terms of expansion was inevitable, and I think Texas and Oklahoma really fit in terms of not only the contiguous footprint that Commissioner Sankey talks about, but their logos are iconic and it fits in very well with the rest of the SEC.
The way the world has changed, Chris. Not just the conference expansion and the expansion of the playoff, which we all thought had to happen, but the portal and the way things change and there's no real loyalty anymore. Again, I'm not joking aside a little bit. It does kind of bother me. Does it bother you where we are now?
I think it does. I think there's a lot of fear of disconnect from the fans as it relates to the NIL stuff. That how do we grapple with what's going on there? The transfer portal with guys moving all over the place. There's uncertainty with the Congress's decision about the money, the settlement, and what the future of college football holds. But I honestly believe it feels to me like there's more anticipation for this season than I can remember in a long time. Maybe it's because OU and Texas are in. Maybe it's the 12-team playoff. We're talking about in this league, I think there's probably 8 teams that may be vying for one of those potential 4 spots that the SEC could get. So I do think there's a lot of anticipation and a lot of excitement despite some of the negative things that we've been talking about in the offseason.
By the way, when Big Sur says, who says I didn't make the travel squad, I'm going to say it was you.
No.
I'm going to say that was you, man.
I was on that 96 Jaguar roster where, not for long, but I was there for a while, and Big Sur was a presence out there for sure.
Hey, let me ask you something. Why are we such prisoners of the moment in this sport, whereas for some reason no one is talking about Oklahoma, man? They beat the hell out of Texas for close to 3 decades in that conference. And now it's all Texas.
And the most experience in the college football playoffs. I mean, they didn't win a whole lot of college football playoff games, but they've been a part of a lot of them. It is interesting. I said the same thing on our show this morning. I think the biggest statement was Texas going to Tuscaloosa last year and beating Alabama the way that they did. It wasn't only a double-digit win. It was a physical push around on the lines of scrimmage deal. And I think that's why we're kind of talking about them a lot. I think it's familiar because we remember Sark from a couple years ago as the OC at Alabama. So we feel like maybe he's got a little leg up in terms of acclimating to this league. But I honestly believe that there's a lot of reason to be excited about OU. You go back and look at the job that Brent Venables did from the roster he took over in year 1 to what they did through the transfer portal before last season to upgrade lines of scrimmage. I think they're much more suited to be ready to be an SEC type of team this year too.
To that end.
And by the way, their schedule, Frank, have you seen the schedule, particularly the end of the season? Like, Oklahoma's going to have a lot to say about who ends up doing
nicely.
what.
They're going to surprise them.
Yeah.
What's interesting about this, and that's where I was going with this, Chris, when you played, everybody wondered, could they catch Florida? Then for a while, could you catch Alabama? Is Georgia there now, or is the league too good for that to be the case? You know what I mean? Because Georgia's better than everybody, but the margin might not be what it was when you were at Florida and Nick. What do you think about that?
I don't think the margin is as great as it was. And I also think that, you throw Texas and Oklahoma in, it becomes even more challenging. It was interesting to me to listen to Coach Saban. I don't know if you heard him on the SEC Network set yesterday, but he made the statement about, you're not just going to come into this league and dominate when he was talking about Texas. But I think there's also a little bit of that that's maybe aimed at Georgia too. And I know they haven't lost a regular season game since 2020, and I know the guy that was the bugaboo to them is now working with us at ESPN and Coach Saban. But I just get the feeling that the margin of talent differential is not as great as it was. And we're talking about Florida's schedule. Why are we not talking about Georgia's schedule? Georgia's schedule is pretty ridiculous as well. You talk about the top probably 4 teams in the SEC. I would say, they play, 3 of those in Ole Miss, Alabama, and who's the other one they play? Missouri. One of the other.
Play Ole Miss, Texas, and
that's
Alabama
it. Texas. Forgot about Texas. But so the schedule is really difficult for them, and I find it hard to believe. Vegas has them 10.5 wins. I could see them losing 2 this year in the regular season.
Okay. I got to ask you this, man. Now, we've been talking about this.
Talking Florida?
4 months, okay? I'm not even talking about – I'm not talking about the big picture. I'm literally talking about one game.
Yeah.
That game is gigantic, the season opener.
I know. I said this today.
For both programs.
You guys have been around the program a long time as well. I think it's the most important opening game of the season since I've been a Florida fan, which dates back to the early '80s.
I hear you.
It's the most important. I think it's actually really important for Miami as well.
Yeah.
I mean, Mario Cristobal is kind of in a similar situation that Billy Napier's in.
Parallel
the
tracks.
Winner, at least takes a little pressure off for now. The losers squarely in the bullseye of their fan base. But for Florida too, the schedule is incredibly challenging in the second half of the year. You got to make hay early in the year, and you got to win your home games. I was talking to one of the Florida players, and they're like, "Wow, this is a good season for us. We get 7 home games." And I'm like, "Bro, you guys lost to Arkansas at home. That just because you're playing it at home doesn't mean it's a win. This isn't the days when we were there. We weren't going to lose many home games. You got to show me that the Swamp is the intimidating factor that it used to be, and you got to reclaim the home games the way that the Gators have typically won those the last couple of decades."
All right, you'll be the best person I know to answer this. I'm serious about this. I think Florida's got a little better team than they've had, and that people think.
I think so
I think they're a little better. But Chris, and explain this better than broadcasters can, because you were a player and a good one. There's something about when a team expects to win and they know they're good and the other guy knows they're good. So you're almost down 7 points. You know what I mean?
You're talking about our Florida teams because
I am.
Our coach knew he was good.
Right.
We thought we were good because he was our coach, and then we started winning, and it was just a
So how do you
prophecy.
get there? Can you get there if you haven't been that under that regime?
Yeah, that's the toughest part about it, right? I mean, faith is one of the most powerful forces there is, being able to believe in the unseen. And once you do it, it becomes easier. But let's not forget, you guys remember, they used to call us roadkill in the early 90s because when we left the Swamp, we were not very good. And that win we had in Kentucky that night was kind of the turning point where, we had bad things happen. We ended up winning that game, and we started to be as dominant on the road as we were at home. So it just sometimes it takes one game, and Florida hasn't. I thought maybe that South Carolina victory last year coming from behind was going to be it. That wasn't a great South Carolina team either.
You get off the field on 4th and 14, that's the game. That game turns everything if they
Missouri,
win the game.
Yeah, no question about it.
That certainly gets us started.
Yeah, but that's a failure defensively in that situation. It's a failure by Trevor Etienne for not staying in bounds. These are the little things, and I think that's what Florida's missing is the attention to detail and doing the little things correctly. It's been a lot of self-inflicted wounds. It's been, the disorganizational issue. Yeah. People ask, what does he need to do? How many games does Napier need to win? To me, it's not about wins. It's about the aesthetics. How does it look out there? Does it look more organized? I think they've made some good adjustments, particularly on the defensive staff. And I think the team will look a lot better this year, primarily because the young guys got some experience last year, and they went out and got a lot of 4th, 5th, 6th-year guys in the portal that are good fits as well.
Yeah, they can't look dysfunctional. I agree with you. That's a big part. Before we let you go, You having fun? You're doing mornings. You're doing. I mean, you've done this. How long? How long we've been doing this now? How long have you?
Well, me and you. I mean, shoot. I was thinking back to you and I did the Gator Bowl.
That's right.
Florida and Ohio State on the radio a long time back. You used to have me on your show quite a bit. So I mean, it's been I'm 51 years old, man.
You're 51.
I used to think I was the young
old.
guy.
He's 51.
Yeah,
I'm old.
you're 51. 51, man. It doesn't even make sense. But this will be my 10th year with the SEC Network, which is awesome, man.
Years, so we're crushing it, bro.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Always good to be with you guys. You guys are my favorites, man. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me.
From the SEC Network.
All right, Josie, by the way, tell Leon I was not the guy who said that Leon didn't make the travel squad. That was all CD, okay?
You hear that, sirs?
I ain't make the travel squad. That don't make any sense to me.
He's coming after you right now, man.
I just asked the question.
He's like, okay.
What year are we talking? I made the travel squad my freshman year. What are you talking about, travel squad?
No, he was saying because you guys didn't go with them to the
y'all didn't go on the trip, so he said, what, Joe and Leon didn't make the travel squad, and I said,
he's talking about it. No, we didn't. We on IR. We on IR.
I'm sending Leon after CD. That's an easy thing for me to do. All right, so Matt, you guys are just going to keep cranking it out. We'll take a quick break, and then we'll kind of come back with you and set up just a little reaction. We got Coach Campo in here hanging out with us, so we'll come back to you in just a minute and talk a little bit more. It is a Beaver Chevy, Beaver Toyota Tuesday. I want to thank them for all that they do. Every single time you hear me brag about them, it's because they are there to wow you, so we appreciate them 100%. Make sure you check out Beaver Chevy and Beaver Toyota online and on the lot. So let's come back and let's at least react a little bit to what those guys have been talking about, what Josh Heupel, coach of the Tennessee Volunteers, had to say as well on XL Primetime.
XL Primetime's Coach Dave Campo is brought to you by Bold City Heating and Air. Online at boldcityac.com. Buckle up. You're in the First Coast Honda Dealers Studios with XL Primetime on 1010XL. Find your new Honda at your 8 local Honda dealers.
Want more Jags? Subscribe to the 1010XL Jaguars YouTube channel. Looking for more in-depth coverage of the Gators? Subscribe to the 1010XL Gators YouTube channel. Need your FSU fix? Well, subscribe to the 1010XL Seminoles YouTube channel. Your favorite team, one specific location.
Hey Jacksonville, Lauren Brooks here from Helmets and Heels. Are you looking for quality tires that won't break the bank? Big Chief has you covered. Right now they're offering 6-month financing with the CFNA card, plus $50 off your next service. With no interest for 6 months, it's the perfect time to get those new tires. Schedule your appointment today at BigChiefTire.com or call 904-932-0950 to take advantage of this incredible deal. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
It's the coolest week to save during the summer fan sale at First Coast Lighting and Fans. Buy one fan, save 10%. Buy two, save 15%. Buy 3 or more and save 20% off all fans at First Coast Lighting and Fans. Showroom near the Avenues.
At Honda, we appreciate all the comparisons to other vehicles. And no matter how many times they compare their vehicles to a Honda, only a Honda is a Honda. Remember, value, quality, safety, there is no substitute. Visit your local Honda dealer now and experience the difference.
Hey, it's Mike Dempsey, and you know how I feel about Pella Windows and Doors. Great design, strongest warranties, and the highest quality products. I even chose Pella Windows for my own home. And whether you're a homeowner replacing windows or building a new home or a trade professional working with clients, I know the design experts at Pella will help your project run smoothly and look great. Visit PellaJacks.com or the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway at Pella Windows and Doors.
Mia here, and we've all been there before. A weekend trip to the casino? Canceled because real life came calling. MyBookie's new and improved online casino is here to change the game. Dive into a truly realistic casino experience featuring the latest in slots, progressive jackpots, and live dealer action, all from the comfort of your own home. The live casino is so easy to use. Just go to MyBookie and click Live Casino at the top. You'll find live dealers ready to deal or spin just like you're at the casino. The MyBookie Casino provides a Las Vegas experience when the action's in the palm of your hands and you don't even need to wear pants. Start at MyBookie today with a generous sign-up bonus using promo code 1010XL. A revamped loyalty program ensures a host of exclusive VIP perks. Sign up and hit the casino with promo code 1010XL. The more you play, the more you win, only with MyBookie.
Calling all disc golf enthusiasts. Play It Again Sports Jacksonville wants your used discs. Now through June 29th, earn cash on the spot plus $5 in sports bucks for every $25 of disc golf gear we buy. Play It Again Sports also stocks new discs from your favorite brands like Innova, Discraft, Discmania, and more. Stop in today and shop our huge selection. Merrill Road near 295 in the Merrill Station Shopping Plaza or online at playitagainjacks.com.
Guys, feeling deflated in the bedroom? ED, low T, no energy? If your stuff is broken, call 904-STROKEN or 904stroken.com. No shots and the first treatment now free. Fix your ED at 904stroken.com.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
July 16, 1987, New York Yankees' Don Mattingly hits fourth Grand Slam of the season, tying the American League record of homers in 6 straight games.
Now that's what I call high-quality H2O. If you want high-quality water throughout your home, call your local water boy. We install equipment to solve any water problem. WaterBoyJAX.com.
If you're an experienced, skilled plumber or welder that's MedGas certified and you're tired of working for a company that just doesn't treat you right, Local 234 is the place for you. Their pay is the best in the business. You'll walk away with $35.09 an hour in your pocket. With benefits, that's just over $50 an hour. Local 234 has been around since 1901, and that means something. Visit UA234.com to send your resume. Local 234. Make the right connection.
Integrity, persistence, and standing up for victims. It's what you want in a personal injury case and what my friend and lawyer Glenn Cohen brings to every case for over 40 years. Call Glenn at Barnes, Cohen, and Sullivan.
Does the building you go to work in every day need a little love and attention? Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Great companies take great care of the buildings their staff and customers walk into every day. If the building you're in doesn't match the vision you have for your company, we can help. Go to performance-painting.com. Our highly trained team makes the difference. Quality coatings applied with pride.
Performance Painting! Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Electrical problems? Call American Electrical Contracting. 737-7770. Small jobs or large, they do them all. Work with a locally owned and operated company that will wire it right at a fair price. It's not just a slogan, it's the way they do business.
Good people drink good beer, and great people drink Mocama, a refined craft brewery out of Fernandina Beach, Florida. Mocama Beer Company brings sophisticated flagship beers, including Cosmico IPA and Dune Garden Lager, to the greater Jacksonville area. Whether you're hitting the water with friends or enjoying a backyard barbecue, Mocama has the perfect fare for your summer activities. Look for us wherever great beers are sold and find your Mocama.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. This is SEC College Football, SEC Media Days, presented by Underwood Jewelers and Southern Steer Butcher on 1010XL.
We've been having a good time listening to Matt, Franj, Mia, all at the SEC kickoff in Dallas. We've already heard from a couple of head coaches, and we'll hear from a few more. As a matter of fact, I want to get into Kirby Smart and a comment or two that he had earlier today. But Coach is hanging out with us, Big Searcy. When you hear all this chatter and you hear some of the talent that is coming into the SEC this year with a lot of high hopes, Florida may not be among them, but you heard what Heupel said. He feels like he's got a decent program and a quarterback that could be a ready to enter stardom in a Rocky Top uniform, and then you got all the others. What have you thought so far?
Well, I mean, it's interesting. The coaches, I mean, it is the off season, so they're stacking the chips.
Oh, that's true. No one's lost yet.
No one's lost yet, right? So they're stacking the chips and letting you know how good their team is, and we're good here, we're good there. Quarterback situation, we love it. And I heard Hyper talking about the fact that the juices are flowing now because he knows right after SEC champion, right after the SEC meeting, they get right into training camp and they get themselves ready for the season. So, I mean, the coaching staff is supposed to be excited because it's the start of the season and everybody is undefeated right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't expect anything other than what I heard today.
Coach?
When I was in the Big 12, kind of at the end of my career and USC,
right.
The media days were really where you kind of geared it up. It's kind of like us getting ready for the Jaguars in training camp.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, for me, I like to hear the guys talk, like Leon said, because right now, every one of those guys going to come up and say, I like my football team, and let's tee it up. And I thought the interesting thing was when Kirby Smart talked about the fact that he doesn't look like he's got a target on him. He's going to put the target on everybody else at the beginning of the season. I thought that was an interesting comment.
All right, that's good. Let's use that because that's a nice coaching mindset to create. But the other one was Kirby talking about and basically intimating that you can lose one or two and still get set up for a run at the college football playoff. Here's what he had to say about that earlier today on ESPN because now we've gone to 12 teams.
I think the approach becomes who can handle this adversity that hits during the season better. In the past, it was like one loss and your whole season's over, maybe two in some cases. Now, that devastation can't impact your entire season. You can't let one loss cost you a chance at a playoff by letting the next week affect you. So it's going to be critical to see how teams manage it. I think the NFL experience I had where, maybe an 8-8 season gets you in the playoff, that's not going to be the case, but you got to be able to advance and use losses to make your team better at the end of the season.
No, I've never heard Kirby Smart talk like that. Ever. Never, absolutely. Never.
A loss, yeah, because you got to remember this, coaches don't coach for losses, right? But the narrative has changed because of the 12-team playoffs. Now these coaches are saying if you do lose a game, you can't let that carry over to the next week because the team lose a game. Now you still have that opportunity because like Kirby said, in the past, you were one and done. Right. And more than likely, two, you out. Yeah.
All right, so now he doesn't have that kind of pressure. The team doesn't have that kind of pressure. They could probably drop one or maybe drop two and still technically get into the playoffs. And I don't know if I'm not gonna call it the subtlety of Kirby Smart because I know how ferocious he is as a coach. But to be honest with you, these coaches now can exhale because they can lose a game or they can lose two and still have the possibilities to play for a national championship.
Yeah, I'm with Leon on that. To me, it was in direct opposite of what I said that he said about we put the target on everybody else going in. He kind of tempered that a little bit by saying you can lose a couple games, but I think he was being factual.
Yeah.
It is like the NFL. There's no question about it. You play. He's going to go into every game with a target on the other team, I believe, but just like he lost at the end of the year this past year, it happens. Sometimes things don't go right at the end of the ball game, and you have no chance to come back. And I think that gives them a little bit of leeway.
Yeah, because Joe, ultimately last year, they lose that game to Alabama, they're still in. I mean, I don't know if that lessens the importance of the championship, so to say, because if the SEC, if you lose it, you ultimately become a wild card team. All right,
yeah, that's what you
become a wild card.
You lost the division,
but you lost the division. But now you still got an opportunity because of the 12-team playoffs in the wild card to still make it to the championship and win it. So I mean, I think if this was last year, Georgia losing to Alabama in the SEC championship game still would have given them opportunity to play for a championship.
All right, I'll set it up like this because I guarantee you what you say is true. You would never hear Kirby Smart say what he said today after that loss to Alabama last year. So here's the soundbite because he got shut out of the playoff last year, and we talked about it a ton.
Never should have been, but he did.
Never has a team gone from first to out of the college football playoff. in a decade worth of it, and they went from undefeated number 1 to out of it.
That was a sham.
Here's what Kirby had to say about being left out last year.
Well, first of all, we lost. So, like that, we had that responsibility in and of ourselves, and I always look internally first. I have no doubt we're one of the 4 best teams in the country, but it doesn't matter, and it didn't matter then. We had an opportunity, and they saw it as we had an opportunity to play our way in, and we didn't, and that's the way it goes. But I promise you this, nobody wants to come play in this SEC schedule that we play either.
Right.
Yeah, see, I can't unsee what I saw. Georgia was the best team in the country last year, even with the 3-point loss to Alabama. How do you went from number 1 to number 6 on a 3-point loss against a SEC rival? That's crazy to me. I think that whole, I'm so glad they got the 12-team playoffs now.
Yeah, see, and I agree 100%. It even goes back to when Leon and I were at the University of Miami.
Mm-hmm.
We go for a 2-point play against Notre Dame to win it, and this is without playoffs. This is when it's subjective, you know.
All about a vote.
And we didn't have a chance to win the national championship because we didn't make that 2-point play.
Yeah.
Now you do.
Yeah.
And I think what it also does is it makes the games more excited because I think a team that is in that situation, do I take a tie or do I go for the win? I think they'll go for the win.
Yeah.
I mean, especially if it's a big game like that.
I got to defend you on this one, Coach, now, because Notre Dame was number 1, we were number 2. They didn't want that smoke. That's the reason why.
Well,
we didn't play them again.
Well,
they didn't want that smoke again, Coach.
No, I'm with you.
Yes.
I'm saying that, listen, Georgia should have been in the playoffs this year. We should have had an opportunity to play for the national championship because if we played them again on a neutral site, it's over.
Wraps.
Yeah, it is a wrap. All right, listen, I don't mind you still playing that narrative this many years later or decades later because you're probably you got it in your head that that's what could have gone down. All right, so here's what Kirby had to say, and this is where you do use this as a positive because you did get left out, and so now you get to turn to Carson Beck and you get to turn to the rest of that football team and say, guess what? You are not going to leave anything to chance. Anyway, here's what Kirby had to say on that subject.
No, I don't think so. We don't harp on it. I think that last performance in the SEC championship might leave a bad taste in some guys' mouth, so there might be a little motivation there, but there's no chip on your shoulder, get back at them, do it. I mean, we start every year assuming nothing, and we start from ground zero, and we build up from ground zero, and we build the team from this team where it is, nothing built on the team before. So we'll do that this time and not really rely on last year's results.
I like what he's saying, but I don't believe what he's saying.
Well, I mean, listen. Remember we had the quarterback whispering here when you talked about Carson Beck, the fact that the years that he was at Georgia, he didn't win a championship.
Yeah.
All right, but he came back his senior year, and I'm gonna tell you this: there's nothing more important than to go out the way you came in.
Yeah.
And I came in Miami with a championship. I left with a championship, and that sour taste in my mouth the year before, made me want to come back and win it even more. So I think that Carson Beck is motivated. That the fact that he's the starter, had an opportunity at SEC championship game. You can't tell me those other 4 teams were better than Georgia. They were definitely left out. So here's another opportunity, 12-team playoff, Carson Beck, number 1. I'll be very interested to see him take this team on his shoulders and see where he rides.
I know this for sure. As a defensive coach, they're in the defensive coach of life, and I know how he is inside, that he doesn't have a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
I guarantee you the defensive coaches, I don't know about these offensive guys.
Yeah.
I like the offensive line, but the rest of these guys, I'm not sure where their motivation is, but I guarantee you Kirby Smart's got a chip on his shoulder.
You work with a chip, right?
Absolutely.
You have to. And like I said, I can appreciate what he said very simply. We can't undo, redo, or ask for another chance on last year. You can't do that. But at the same time, you can play a little angry. You can play a little bent because you didn't have a shot. Now, I like what he said when he goes, we go to 0. You basically start from scratch this year. You don't get to add these wins to that last year's record. I get all of that. But you still got to use it as fuel whenever you can.
And you got to use it as fuel because that loss in the SEC championship can kind of, the glow of Georgia invincibility kind of was, putting the, it was showcased. I mean, it was made vulnerable is what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
It was made vulnerable.
I think Laura Rutledge said it. She made a statement that Leon
Georgia
said
had dipped a bit.
he said it off the air.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can't believe, where do you see Georgia slipping?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it puts the doubt in there. That's all.
Yeah, they took an L.
Everybody looked at Georgia like, hey, nobody can beat Georgia in the country.
Yeah.
That's it.
They took an L.
Yeah, they
so,
looked.
they
looked vulnerable, but they didn't play their best game in the SEC championship game. But Alabama did.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that was the first time, in my assessment, that Georgia looked vulnerable in that game. You know, they always seem to be behind and trailing and not quite, clicking on the same cylinder.
First half was a struggle all the time.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that was the first time I really seen Georgia, kind of as a vulnerable team.
All right, let's sneak in the 10-10 take here, RJ, if you don't mind, because we've talked a lot about the SEC, and Florida doesn't get brought up nearly as often because they ain't near the top of the SEC. But how about where their quarterback is ranked?
Now, Joe C's 10-10 take. Slow smoked and served up by Sonny's Barbecue. Local pitmasters since '68.
So where does Graham Mertz rank in the eyes of some of the talking heads out there that are at the SEC kickoff in Dallas, Texas? Well, the 10-10 take brought to you by Sonny's. You can always enjoy a great Sonny's dinner, especially if you're getting hungry right now. Order it up when you're heading home from work, and they will have everything, including the fixins, waiting for you, ready to go curbside pickup. Well, Jordan Rodgers, an accomplished quarterback at Vanderbilt. Now you see him on the SEC Network. He put his rankings together, and he put Carson Beck at the top, which wouldn't shock anybody. He put Jackson Dart second, and then he put Quinn Ewers third, which I thought was kind of interesting because Jackson Dart was kind of second-guessed a little bit last year, but anyway, had a decent year, and he said he thinks he could be the second-best quarterback. After that, he goes Jalen Milroe fourth, Connor Wigman, the guy we have talked about a bunch at A&M, uber talented fifth, Brady Cook sixth, and then Graham Mertz seventh. And I don't have a problem with that. Graham Mertz threw for less than 3,000 yards, had a high completion percentage, but didn't make a lot of plays down the field. And Brady Cook had himself a year. We mentioned it yesterday, some of the numbers that he was able to kick out. And then right behind Graham Mertz is Garrett Nussmeier. So the one thing you'd immediately say if you're a Gator fan, wait a minute, that dude didn't even start last year. He didn't play hardly any last year until Jaden Daniels got hurt, and he's right behind our starter from last year. I totally get it. But Graham Mertz, just like the Florida Gators, they got to prove some people wrong. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, they're going to be at the bottom half.
Well, the one thing about him is I think everybody was down on him a lot when he came to Florida.
Yeah, Yahtzee.
And I think he proved a lot of people wrong, even though the team didn't necessarily win as many games as everybody was hoping, obviously. But it seemed to me that he performed better than everybody had him going when he got to Florida. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the fans, anyway.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And I think they got Nussmeier right behind him. Has probably more to do with the system at LSU that Brady, that the coach has than more so than the player himself.
It is true because Brian Kelly can take a quarterback, put him right in there, and turn him into a superstar, which he did with Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels, you look at him entirely different now than the way you looked at him when he walked in the door, like we were just talking about with Graham. All right, so let's head into the 3 o'clock hour. More from Dallas, Texas. Our SEC Media Days coverage continuing right here on 1010XL. A Beaver Chevy, Beaver Toyota Tuesday. Coach Campo hanging out with us as we head into the 3 o'clock hour. Joe C., Leon Searcy, and we'll have Matt Hayes back up in Dallas in just a few.
Cruising with XL Primetime in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios on 1010XL. At the end of the day, matriculate your way home with the Frangie Show.
What does that mean?
It means buckle your seatbelt, Dorothy.
This isn't Kansas.
The great Oz has spoken.
Afternoons on 1010XL. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
It's time to fire up your grills, shoot off some fireworks, and launch one of the biggest sales in the history of the United States. It's our independent sale happening right now at Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet. Whether you drive a car, a truck, or an EV, everyone is welcome to celebrate our independent sale with the lowest prices, largest inventory, and the most love for our country. Come celebrate with Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville. You don't want to miss this.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialist is now offering ortho walk-in appointments. If you have an immediate need for orthopedic care, contact Southeast Orthopedic Specialist immediately. Avoid ERs and urgent care waiting rooms. For more information, go to se-ortho.com.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Your cooling system isn't working. Maybe somebody showed up with a portable electronic device. Then they discussed with you what your options are. Maybe they gave you an estimate that seems like an awful lot of money. What's the smart thing to do? When the situation merits a second opinion, get a Mike Merritt opinion. Yes, the Mike Merritt Comfort Team shows up with hand tools. We've never been able to fix an air conditioning problem with a tablet. Mike Merritt has been the trusted name for more than 30 years because there's never any hocus pocus. The Merritt team will walk you through the diagnostic steps up close and personal and show you exactly what you need. And the Mike Merritt price is likely to be far less because there's never an overtime charge, and the Merritt team doesn't work on commission. So remember, when it comes to the health of your cooling system, a second opinion can only help, and a Mike Merritt opinion can save you money. Florida license CACO 50384.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hello, I'm Malcolm Anthony. I've been practicing criminal defense law for over 40 years. It's what I love to do, it's what I do well. Stay out of trouble, but if you don't, call me, Malcolm Anthony, at 2854-LAW. 2854-LAW for Malcolm Anthony.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, Prime Men's Medical Center will get your sex life back in just one visit. Their painless, breakthrough medical treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Prime Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Prime Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments will restore your sex life regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. Plus, you'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients will have their testosterone checked free. Call 904-902-8222. 904-902-8222. To regain your sex life in just one visit, call now. 904-902-8222.
Hey folks, it's Mike Dempsey for Pella Windows and Doors. Now you probably heard me mention that errant golf ball that led us to replace our windows. And obviously, if I'm investing in my home's appearance and comfort, I want the best. Well, now my new Pella windows are installed and they look fantastic. And we've already noticed the difference in outside noise reduction and energy savings. So if you need to replace your windows or doors, visit my friends at the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway or check them out online at PellaJacks.com. That's Pella Windows and Doors.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes Summers here, so let's talk about something sizzling, making a Bacon 180 with a Waken 180. Imagine dropping pounds while still enjoying that crisp, savory goodness. Well, it's on the menu at Awaken 180, and one of the many reasons I lost 40 pounds in 9 weeks on Awaken 180 weight loss. I did it all while still enjoying so many of my favorite foods. The difference is, my coach showed me how to enjoy those foods the right way. Chicken, steak, pork, lobster, they're all on the menu. Awaken 180 caters to any diet or taste profile. Vegetarian, vegan, omnivore, even flexitarian. I'm not kidding. That's a thing. They're all covered. The bottom line, if you want to lose weight fast and safe and keep it off with lifetime coaching, then make your own Bacon 180 with the Awaken 180. Do what I did, Mike Dempsey and Hacker and more than 21,000 others online at Awaken180weightloss.com. That's Awaken180weightloss.com.
Give your engine the attention it deserves with the advanced formulation of Napa Full Synthetic Engine Oil. It delivers faster oil flow for superior temperature protection in the harshest conditions. Defends against sludge and buildup while keeping your engine running cleaner, longer. And improves fuel efficiency by reducing friction, helping you stay at peak performance mile after mile. Try Napa Full Synthetic Engine Oil today. Available now at Napa locations nationwide. Napa!
Wondering what you're going to do for dinner tonight? Southern Steer Butcher is a full-service butcher that offers take-and-bake side options that are oven-ready.
Now open in Ortega. For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
This is Molly McDonald with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update, brought to you by PrimeMensMedical.com. Live from SEC Media Days, ESPN analyst Nick Saban gave an inside look onto who the SEC favorite could be this upcoming season, saying it's hard to predict the overall top team as it depends on a lot of factors.
So I think there's 6 or 7 teams in the SEC who could be playoff teams. And these people are all playing each other. It's hard to know exactly who's going to come out on top. I think it's because of the structure of the conference now with 16 teams and the kind of schedule you got to play and no divisions. All those things are going to, sort of weigh into who has the most success. And it always, happens that if you can stay healthy and you're lucky and the good players on your team stay focused on what they need to do, that's going to help you be successful. So a lot of factors go into making a prediction like that right now.
It's 93 degrees at 3 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. It's where football season starts. SEC Media Days, presented by Southern Steer Butcher and Underwood Jewelers on 1010XL.
We heard Nick Saban just a second ago on Molly's update, and as soon as he started talking, you could hear him kind of just build himself up into a little bit of a frenzy, adding in every important thing about how you are successful. It was just awesome to hear him. And now the analyst that he is, just like our head coach, Dave Campo. All right, 3 o'clock hours here. We got Matt hanging out in Dallas, Texas. We're going to go back out there, but we're hanging out here. You guys can hit the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures at 641-1010. I want to play a soundbite from Carson Beck and then also a quote from him earlier, Matt. But I texted you when we were listening to his interview, his sit-down with Frank and Mia, and the dude has just got some serious polish on him now, doesn't he?
He's sharp. He's sharp, man. There's no doubt about it. He gets it. He gets it. And the funny thing is, Denny's been telling me that for like 2 months now. Our QB guru, Denny Thompson's been saying, man, the dude just gets it. And he's right. He's right. I like his demeanor. I like the way he's carrying himself. He's clearly talented. And he opened up today about how, what it was like in 2021, how he was the starter. He was the guy when JT Daniels got hurt in the opener against Clemson, and he had a poor practice week, and that convinced Kirby Smart, you know what, we got to go with Stetson Bennett. And then 2 years later, they got back-to-back national titles, and there's Carson sitting and waiting when that actually could have been him. He could have been the guy who won the back-to-backs. He could have been the guy who was drafted early by the NFL in the first round. And now he's got more motivation after last year, after a few plays by Georgia in that Alabama game, cost them the SEC championship, made them the first number 1 seed in the history of the playoff to go from number 1 to out of the playoff on the final week of the season. He's got a lot of motivation right now. And granted, I wrote this at Saturday Down South. Granted, he's got a lot of motivation, but it also was very easy for him to come back and continue that patience because he's making a lot of dough, everybody. A lot of dough. I'll tell you what, he was sitting there at that podium, and you probably could have saw it on YouTube if you were watching it. He's got this sweet baby blue suit on. He's got a white turtleneck. He's got this thick gold chain, and he's got a diamond watch, fellas, that I'm telling you right now is worth more than every non-football coach, the annual salary of every non-football coach in here. He's decked out, man, but he gets it, and he's smart and he's poised, and we've seen him on the field. We've watched him play. He's a terrific player. And he's probably going to be the first pick in the draft next year. So yeah, he's on his way, man.
And he might even have one of those twins on his arm from down there at the U.
He may.
You never know.
That's all we produce, Joe. That's all we produce down there. Nothing but beauties, all right? Hey, man, what you're seeing in Carson, that's called new money, bro. It's called new money. What you seeing there?
Bro, you should have saw that watch.
I can only imagine, bro.
Diamond studded all the way around the band, all the way around the face of the watch, and it looks sweet. And all I was thinking the whole time was, good for him, man.
Oh, yeah.
And all these players, they're so dressed and look so good here. Good for them. Yeah. They're finally starting to reap the rewards of the work. They They do work for these universities. They've done work for the universities for the last 150 years. And we can get into that argument about, well, they got scholarships, and that's fine. But in this day and age with all the billions and media rights money, good for those guys getting what they get.
No, you know what, Matt? It was interesting when we had Denny in here, the quarterback whisperer. He was talking to me. He was telling us that when they asked him how many national championships does he have, he says he has 0. He is motivated, I believe, to go into this season and win a natty. You want that in your quarterback, do you not? The guy who has a chip on his shoulder that wants to go in the season and finish the job.
I mean, you know that. Coach Campo knows that. I mean, he's been talking. It's funny. And again, I clearly it helped the NIL money that helped him come back. But he was like, that losing that game to Alabama when we're all thinking, we're going to win this game and we'll get the playoff and blah blah blah. And Kirby Smart on our show said there was no doubt they were one of the 4 best teams in the country. I'll say it right now. I think they would have beaten Michigan. I think they would have won it all again last year. So that's the motivation right there for him. I think that's I don't want to call it a chip on the shoulder, but that's certainly like if you're the quarterback in this day and age of football at any level where the quarterback is critical to everything you do, you are the guy, he, like it or not, fair or not, he's the guy that didn't get them to the playoffs. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of motivation for him.
I got the feeling, Matt, listening to him that really, you can talk about all that money he's making now and everything, but I really think that's why he is coming back. I mean, I think he has something to prove, and I think that's the position he's taken.
Yeah, and we talked about it earlier, Matt, that Kirby, even though he won't admit it, he's probably got a little anger in his every day because they were left out last year. And you can coach without revealing that part of it, but you can definitely use it as motivation. There's no question in my mind they feel like they were shafted a year ago.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. By the way, there's nothing better than hearing that the sweet dulcet tones of one Dave Campo.
Yeah,
nothing better. Coach, great to hear you, man. Great to hear you, Joe. I mean, Kirby will never say. He's always the guy that says we don't believe in chips on the shoulder. We don't believe in motivation. Our motivation is to be the best we can be in our process. All the Nick stuff. Mm-hmm. But he's also the same guy who told them in 2022 that everybody thought you were going to go 6-6, which is a complete lie. No one ever said they were going to go 6-6.
Right.
So he finds a way to motivate them, and that one of those ways I can guarantee you will be they didn't think you were good enough last year. They didn't think you were good enough to be in that playoff when clearly you could have beaten any one of those teams. So, yeah, I'm sure that's part of the motivation.
And you use fuel. I don't have any problem.
Yeah, any way you can, man.
Well, man, if you look at that schedule, I mean, they putting them through the gauntlet. If you look at their road, the road they've got to travel through, they got to go to Ole Miss. They got to go to Texas. They got to go to Alabama. It's not going to be easy.
Hell, I mean, Alabama's got to play host to them. Texas got to play host to them. Ole Miss got to play. That's the way they got to look at it.
Yeah.
Man. They're flipping Georgia, man. They're on the same. I know you don't like to hear this, bro. They're at the same level of when you guys had it rolling in Miami. You guys didn't care where you were going.
True.
Who cares, right?
Mm-hmm.
In fact, you kind of liked going on the road and winning games and shutting people up. I can still remember in the Florida heydays in the 90s with Spurrier, they loved going on the road.
Yeah.
They loved going on the road and looking up the stands in the third quarter and the place is empty because they all went home because they had no shot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if you're a team like Georgia, you've got that kind of talent, man. I would love the fact that I'm going to those 3.
Yeah, those Rocky Top tubas, they were packing them up shortly after the half.
Early, bro.
All right, so here's a soundbite from Carson. And look, we know we got plenty of Bulldog fans out there, but this is also Jacksonville's own Mandarin High Mustang winning a state championship here. But this was the quote that he had earlier today on XL or on Helmets and Heels, just talking about he knew immediately, even though he took a little bit of time to announce that he was coming back, he knew immediately after that loss what he was going to do.
The reason for staying, but more about like the hardest part of me leaving would be leaving the locker room that we have and leaving the teammates and the connection that, we've all built. That's probably the hardest part because it's a lot different once you go to the next level. It's not like college, and talking to guys that have been through it, that have gone to Georgia, that are now in the NFL. I mean, there's so many different guys that you can conversate with, and they're all just like enjoy it like while you're here because it's different once you get up there. And that ultimately was one of the biggest deciding factors. And then obviously the way the season ended last year, I mean, everybody always asks me like how difficult of a decision was it? And I tell them it was easy. Now, people might have thought it was difficult in the time because, well, I mean, I wasn't just going to say I was coming back off rip, but the second that we lost to Alabama, I knew that I was coming back.
So, Leon, that thing that caught me right there is when he said other Georgia stars told him, it's different, dude. Just enjoy what you can when you can. I thought that was pretty revealing.
Well, here's the thing that's interesting is that when I came into Miami, I won a national championship my freshman year, right? And I remember the upperclassmen told me, hey, listen, it's not official until you win one. Right now, you piggybacking off of what we did. So it's your job, you're moving forward to make sure that when you leave out of here, that you walk away with a national championship. So he's in the same situation. He came in the situation back-to-back. Right. First time as a starter, you lose to Alabama. So the motivation is, right now, those championships, I hate to say it, he piggybacked on those championships. Mm-hmm. Somebody else won them. So I'm sure that he wants to go into this season with the opportunity to hoist up that, hoist the banner and knowing that his senior year, he won a national championship.
He also, too, Leon, he's also a guy that realizes his place of where he is and what's important. He's also a guy, he's one of those rare guys that enjoys college. He enjoys, we talked to Danny about this ad nauseum, on and off the air. He enjoys the college experience. He enjoys being in college. He enjoys his friends. He enjoys the freedom that he has. And you can say this as much as anyone, you and Coach both, that, once you get to the NFL, man, it's a business. It's, it's no longer, let's go have fun down at the, at the party, or let's go do X, Y, and Z. Now it's a business. You're raising a family. There's a lot going on once you get out of college.
If I could do one thing before I hit the dirt, I'd like to go back to my college football team and play again.
Yeah. It doesn't matter how old or how far removed you are.
And I'm watching guys that I played with that are passing away right now. Mm-hmm. And it brings back those kind of memories for sure.
Yeah. Well, when you say it's a business when you go to the next level, not the way it was under Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy ran it like a business, okay?
Yeah, but you were rare, bro.
Yeah, but you enjoyed some time when you left that practice field, too, now.
Very little, Coach. Very little.
And the way I can't appreciate what Kirby said about his players and how you're describing Carson is that there's there's job security in the financial windfall that they're enjoying. And you're not scared. You're not desperate. You're not thinking you got to get out and get up.
Worried about an injury and this, that, and the other thing. Yeah. You're right.
And so that's a huge benefit. And I do think as much as we are seeing guys, and I always call it the Technicolor dream coat, because like guys like Dylan Gabriel are going to be playing for three different schools. Fans, if this NIL works, fans will be treated to some of these guys sticking around one more year.
Well, only thing that concerns me is don't be the lion that doesn't want to hunt. Once you've been fed.
Yeah. Right. You got to stay hungry.
You got to stay hungry.
That's the problem with the NFL.
You got to stay
some
hungry.
Guys. I mean, that's human nature a little bit.
All right, Matt, we're going to come back to you in just a little bit and talk about where Jordan Rodgers put Graham Mertz, where these quarterbacks are being ranked among the top quarterbacks in the conference. We got to get to some rookies reporting today and the Brandon Aiyuk news. So we will do that coming up. Beaver Chevy, Beaver Toyota, they bring you today's show. You can definitely count on them any day of the week and online. Real easy way to start shopping. And we're talking about beautiful SUVs, pickup trucks that can get the job done, that still provide the luxury, economy sedans, inside and out. You'll love the look. Check them out, BeaverToyotaStAugustine.com, BeaverChevrolet.com. We'll keep it going. SEC kickoff, it is underway. Day 2 in Dallas.
You're riding in the First Coast Honda Dealer Studios. XL Primetime on 1010XL. There's new life in Duval. All aboard! Get on board. This train is about to roll. 1010XL.
It's back. The Big One sales event is here, and it's going on now at Arlington Toyota. Arlington has over 400 new Toyotas available. Cars, trucks, SUVs, and family vans. And that means now is the time to go big and go home in style. Plus, with every new Toyota purchase, you get Arlington's lifetime warranty and 30-day exchange program. But don't wait. The Big One sales event won't last long, so shop today. 10939 Atlantic Boulevard and online at arlingtontoyota.com.
Hi, I'm Frank Frangie, and I've depended on South State for my banking needs as long as they've been serving Duval. Whether you're saving for retirement, purchasing a home, starting a business, your goals are their commitment. With forward-thinking, personalized banking solutions and best-in-class service, South State is ready to help you navigate your financial journey. Connect at southstatebank.com or drop by any of the 5 local South State offices. South State Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Former Jaguars corner and first-year head football coach at Duval Charter School at Bay Meadows, K-12, Aaron Beasley here. Are you looking for an A-rated K-12 school prioritizing academics, arts, and athletics? Duval Charter School at Bay Meadows offers a rigorous curriculum to develop strong minds with an additional focus on growing good hearts. DCSB has been an A school for 8 years, and our tuition is free. Now enrolling. Apply at baymeadowscharter.org.
Bolt City Heating and Air is here to keep you cool this summer. Anytime, any day, whenever you need fast, reliable air conditioning service. Their friendly technicians have fully stocked work vans, so they can get your AC done on site the same day. Rely on a family-owned Jacksonville-grown company this summer to keep your home cooling system working smarter, not harder. Experience the Bolt difference. Visit BoltCityAC.com to schedule your service appointment. BoltCityAC.com.
Hey guys, this is David Garrard, and I want to tell you about Clearwater Irrigation. They put my new sprinkler system in my new home at Jack's Beach, and I couldn't be happier. Oh, hey John.
What's up, Dave? You know what this means. You're going to have to sing.
Man, I can't sing.
Then you'll fit right in, buddy. Clearwater Irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers. Hit it, Dave.
And drainage too.
ClearwaterJacks.com. College football is finally here. Yes! SEC Football Media Days. Catch interviews with coaches and players.
We need change. I think everybody knows that.
If you miss one, you can hear it on demand at 1010XL.com. Brought to you by Instant Keys.
Right now, you may be running a little late, or feeling stressed, or overwhelmed, and you may be going a bit over the speed limit. So to help you relax, exhale. Ease up on the gas. You'll get there when you get there. Take a moment to just chill. This little break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Is your roof ready to weather the storm? Don't take chances with your home safety. Schedule a free roof inspection with the experts at Universal Roof and Contracting. Get peace of mind knowing your home is protected from the elements. Save up to $1,250 on your roof replacement, plus flexible financing up to 15 years. Offer expires July 31st. Call 855-ROOF-HELP or click universalroof.com.
License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258. 484.
Hey sports fans, this is Hayes Carlyon from MyBookie. Look, we've all been there before. A weekend trip to the casino canceled because real life came calling. Well, MyBookie's new and improved online casino is here to change the game. Dive into a truly realistic casino experience featuring the latest in slots, progressive jackpots, and live dealer action, all from the comfort of your own home. I love the live casino. The roulette is awesome. It's so easy and so much fun. Just go to MyBookie and click Live Casino at the top. You'll find live dealers ready to deal or spin just like you're at the casino. The MyBookie Casino provides a Las Vegas experience when the action is in your hands. Start at MyBookie today with a generous sign-up bonus using promo code 1010XL, and a revamped loyalty program ensures a host of exclusive VIP perks. So sign up and hit the casino with promo code 1010XL. The more you play, the more you win. Only with MyBookie.
I'm Taylor Rose with our Remedy Staffing Westside office off of Normandy Boulevard. We are helping great people find great jobs. Remedy has helped some of the best employers in Jacksonville find talented job seekers like you for over 25 years. Our current job openings range from entry-level distribution center pickers to equipment operators. Apply today at remedygoodjobs.com. Don't wait. Apply at remedygoodjobs.com now.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and it is hot out there. You know that, Greg, but Honda has a plan for you on or off the road.
They do. There's a ton of Honda scooters, Honda mini motos, great for the beach. Also get you out in the woods with a Honda side-by-side. Plenty to do and stay cool.
Yeah, four-wheelers, and you can trick them out.
We can. From stereo systems to big builds, we do it all.
Everything's there for you to see. CyclesofJacksonville.com online or on Atlantic near Regency. Check out Cycles of Jacksonville.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. This is XL Primetime. Brought to you by Florida Home AC. Now that's cool. On 1010XL.
Oh, he swung. Gotta go. Get legs. Get legs.
This is your 2024 T-Mobile Home Run Derby champ.
I don't like it when they sounded upset that Bobby Witt didn't get out of the park and beat my Dodger, Teoscar Hernandez, as he wins the Home Run Derby. And one of the older Home Run Derby champions. I did crack up a little bit when I saw a topic this morning as a Home Run Derby lost its luster. Did you guys see that crowd last night?
Yeah, they were fired up.
Yeah, and look, it's an exhibition. It's the Home Run Derby. As much as it might have lost a little bit of its luster, will never dip to the level of a Pro Bowl game in football or anything like that. It's we know what it is. It's BP, and they're swatting them out of the park. There's still some great theater to it.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to Howard G. Cigars, my business partner. We were out there, so I'm pretty sure that the All-Stars were out there smoking on a big or a little Searcy, baby.
It's classic. Now, listen, this country recording star got absolutely crushed on social media, and last night the performance was absolutely awful. And so we can at the very least say now that she's taken responsibility for it, and she put out on social media, and I'll just clean this up just a little bit, but this is her post. I'm not going to BS y'all. I was drunk last night. I'm checking myself into a facility today to get the help I need. That was not me last night. I apologize to MLB, all the fans, and this country I love so much for that rendition. I'll let you all know how rehab is. I hear it's super fun, XO Ingrid. So she was trying to be a little lighthearted, I suppose, with that, but yeah. That was not good. It was not good.
Yeah, I think the worst part of it is going to be when she actually hears it when she's sober.
Yeah,
that's what probably made her want to go to rehab, Coach.
Yeah,
when she sobered up, her publicist or whoever her marketing people say, "Hey, listen, you need to hear this, and we've got to react to it right now."
Yeah, I've got some history in the family of that situation, and I feel for her, but I'm glad she is going to get the help she needs.
Absolutely.
And since that was so public last night, it's good that she just let people know what's going on.
Well, she's a Grammy winner.
Yeah.
I mean, she won like 4 Grammys.
Right. And I was blown away. I really was. And on social media, there were people cranking out some of the best national anthem performances or renditions, however you want to describe it, that they had heard, just to get that out of their brain.
Yeah,
because
it was a shame, really. But
all right, let's hit this, even though it was a little earlier.
That just happened. Brought to you by Florida Home AC, the official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Has this been the most back and forth cat when it comes to I want to stay, I want to go? I think of that great hit. The Clash played way back when, Should I Stay or Should I Go? Brandon Aiyuk either wants in or wants out, and we're not quite sure which day he wants one or the other, but he is now insisting on a trade. What do you think?
Wow. Well, I mean, this is the time you ask. I mean, coming to training camp, most of the time the organization is about the business of ball. Now, there's still some negotiating on, but the season is going to be pretty close, and if the opportunity for a trade is going to happen, more than likely it's going to happen during training camp.
Yeah. And you might use the timeline to help make a deal take place, because the 49ers need to feel like they're going to win in some situation here, because they're letting go of a very good player. And so it may come in the form of an injury on another team where they really need to go get a guy. But, Coach, the quote is, after an offseason of unsuccessful attempts to reach an extension. And that's Mike Garafolo, who put the report out there. And he and the NFL media, they've been all over this thing, just like the Schefters of the world have been. But Aiyuk, second-team All-Pro last year. This is the option year of his rookie deal. He's due to make just over $14 million. He wants to see something north of $20 million.
Yeah, and the problem they have, obviously, is that they have the highest average money for their receiver core. So from a cap standpoint, they cannot. It's over 20%, which is big. Yeah. That's high, and so the Jaguars are like seventh or something like that. They're pretty high.
They're up there too, especially when they got that last deal done. Yeah.
Yeah, but to me, they don't have the money to keep both he and Debo Samuel. They might have to get rid of both of them.
And by the way, Debo was the first one to balk, and so he did get his money because he showed how versatile he was.
Right.
And don't think Aiyuk wasn't paying attention to that.
Well, also, Aiyuk has to understand that the closer you get to the season, the less leverage that you have, to be quite honest with you, because you don't want to cost yourself checks. Right. All right. You don't want, because listen, the NFL is like this, out of sight, out of mind. If you're missing games, you need to be on the field making money, get the film or whatever. Although he is a proven commodity, he is a second-team All-Pro. But the closer you get to the season, the more leverage a player loses. So the offseason, you try to negotiate a deal, not show up to OTAs and mini camps and stuff. But once you get to training camp, you got that small window before training camp and in the season, and then the team is going to move on, or they're going to move on without you.
Yeah, Nick Bosa held out last year, and he got his deal. And Aiyuk, they need to feel needed. That's in the wide receiver DNA, is it not?
Absolutely. Those guys are a special group. DBs and receivers.
Divas.
You can call them divas, Coach. Yeah, divas. They are. Yeah.
The divas on both sides of the ball.
Oh, yeah.
All right, real quick, since we'll just kind of jam in this one little NFL segment, we'll probably wrap up with a little more SEC Media Days before we're done. But rookies are reporting today at 8 NFL stops, and it should fire everybody up, okay, because we're days away. All of Duval is going to be so fired up when this happens, but we're talking about at the end of the week, rookies report here, but across the country, here's who we've got. We've got San Francisco, speaking of the 49ers. You got the LA Chargers. You got the Bears, and Rome Odunze just got his deal done. Caleb Williams not signed yet, but rookies are reporting up in Chicago, Kansas City, Buffalo, the Giants, the Dolphins, and the Saints. What kind of advice, fellas, are we giving rookies?
Well, I came up with my top 5 because I came up with my top 5 rookie rules for training camp. All right. All right. Number 1, be on time. All right.
Yeah.
Be on time to everything. I'm talking about weightlifting, film study, team meetings, practice field, all that kind of stuff. All right. You're not in college anymore, not in high school anymore. You got to be a trained professional. All right. Number 2, no distractions. All right. Listen, your family could be your biggest distraction when it comes to camp, because everybody needs this, that, and that. Get all of that. You had 5 weeks to get all that stuff out the way.
You're saying that they say baby, daddy, all that stuff.
But here's the thing: you got to let your family know that this is my life. This is my livelihood right now. All right, I don't need no distractions. Don't tell me about this and that going on. Let me stay focused. Number 3, be in shape. If you don't come in shape, you see the one thing about rookies now, Coach, is that they don't have a stress test. All right. Y'all had the 16-110s. I had the 1440s. That was the Steelers. I had the 300-yard shuttles when I was in Jacksonville. So there was some kind of entity that wanted to prove that you were in shape or not. And if you failed those tests, coaches actually frowned on you, let you know that you weren't doing nothing about nothing.
Right.
All right. 4th is be a professional. Be a professional on the field and off the field.
Yeah.
All right. Be a professional. Like I said, on time. This is your job now.
Yeah, you're getting paid.
You're getting paid. You're representing the organization and the team. And lastly, compete your butt off. All right? Because when you're a rookie, all right, veterans understand that they're drafting guys to replace them. All right? They are. The young guys to replace them, because if they can pay a younger guy less money than an older guy, then more than likely that younger guy's going to move that guy. But you got to compete with the veterans. Don't fall into this. We used to call it brother-in-law. Sometimes the veterans say, hey, man, you ain't got to go that fast. Or you ain't got to do this. No, the hell with that. Go full speed every day in practice and compete.
Yeah, I don't have much to add to that. The only thing that I would say, and that's, obviously I wasn't a rookie in the NFL, but Leon was. But when the one thing, this is not like being a freshman in college to where you're looking up at these guys.
Right.
You might look up at them, when you're watching TV, but you're coming in with the idea that I have to do everything I can to make this football team. And there's not a guarantee. Maybe the high draft guys, but those guys, when you pass the third round, you still have to make the football team. And now you got a bunch of other rookies that are, non-drafted guys, free agent guys. That you got something to prove.
Right. There's layers of hungriness that's out there.
Absolutely. So I would say that would be, one that I would say.
The undrafted are trying to prove to the team that they should have been drafted.
Right.
The rookies are trying to prove that they are as good as the veteran.
Right.
The veteran's trying to prove he's hanging on to his job, and you ain't coming to get it. Honestly, you go on and on and on. And then the guy who just got paid is either going to be talked about being content, or he's going to have to prove that he's worth it, which is kind of the camp that Trevor's in. So let's just follow this with just one little thought on Trevor before we're done. Because we unveiled, or we didn't unveil, but we talked about it yesterday, where the ESPN story, polling executives in the National Football League ranked the top 10 quarterbacks, and they have their own way of rating them. But we know that Trevor was in the top 10 last year, based on the season he had before, or the end of the season he had before, and wasn't in the top 10 this year. So let's touch on where he is, at least in the eyes of that polling, and we'll find out whether the guy who just got paid is going to play hungry, like we're talking about. It's XL Primetime.
The First Coast Honda Dealer Studios on 1010XL.
There's a new one-stop shop for all things Gators. Subscribe to the 1010XL Gators YouTube channel. Up-to-the-minute updates, instant reaction from Gainesville, plus the same 1010XL Gators podcast you've grown to know. And check out 1010XL Gators on YouTube.
Frank Franzi here. Ready to experience used-phoria? You can with Car Bravo at Nimnik Buick GMC, Jacksonville's only Car Bravo certified dealer. Buying a certified used vehicle has never felt better. With Car Bravo, Nimnik Buick GMC can certify all makes and models: Honda, Toyota, Kia, Mazda, Ford. Nimnik Buick GMC is proud to be named the #1 Car Bravo dealer in the Southeast region and top 10 in the country. So shop online at Nimnik Buick GMC. Nimnik, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
Get this thing unwrapped here. Duval!
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, man. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. John's County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Dailies Dash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, like me. I'm sure there's a Dailies Dash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course,
oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it!" and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Dailies Dash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Dailies Dash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes, and summer's in full swing, and air conditioners are fully stressed. But do what I did and call the good folks at Fenwick Home Services to stay cool and comfortable all season long. Need a new AC system? Fenwick has free same-day estimates and next-day installations. And your new system is backed by a warranty of up to 12 years. That's right, 12 years. Fenwick also offers same-day, 24/7 service, day or night, and their expert technicians will get the job done and get it done right the first time. Book online now at FenwickHomeservices.com.
Guys, feeling deflated in the bedroom? ED, low T, no energy? If your stuff is broken, call 904-STROKEN or 904stroken.com. No shots in the first treatment, now free. Fix your ED at 904stroken.com.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. With the weather now hot as can be, look ahead and get that backyard ready for fall with a new open-air or screened-in enclosure. Maximize the space you have and make it great with Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. They truly are the best in the business. So if you have the space and the idea, give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway. Tell them Prosser sent you.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
July 16, 1987, New York Yankees' Don Mattingly hits fourth Grand Slam of the season, tying the American League record of homers in 6 straight games.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
You could win your share of over $450,000 in cash and prizes at the 5-star Greater Jacksonville Kingfish Tournament. The fun starts July 13th with the inaugural kickoff beach tournament with a $50,000 cash first prize. There's a junior offshore tournament and one for the lady anglers. Best of all, the general offshore tournament winner takes home a 28T contender with twin 200 Yamahas. Register today at KingfishTournament.com.
A no-risk, all-rewards path to real weight loss. If you're not happy with your Awaken 180 results in the first week, get 100% of your money back. No risk, but every reward. With the solution for weight loss, Awaken180weightloss.com.
This is Hayes Carline here to help you break free from the chains of pest infestation. The talk of this town is Kingfish Pest Control. By now, many of your neighbors have already joined the Kingfish Revolution, leaving their homes and lawns protected and pest-free. Now it's your turn. Call Kingfish Pest Control and say goodbye to termites, ants, mosquitoes, and other annoying pests. Trust me, you'll get exceptional service and understand why your neighbors and I use Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jaguars.
When storms start to crop up in the Atlantic or Gulf this time of year, having a solid plan to handle anything that sweeps through the First Coast is very important. That's where American Electrical comes in. Ensure your home's safety and comfort with an American Electrical home generator. As the area's leading home generator dealer and installer, American Electrical can offer you easy installation, simple maintenance, and peace of mind. Schedule an assessment by simply calling the team at American Electrical. They'll walk you through the best generator for your home or business. Log on, american-electrical.com.
1010XL Weekly is out now. Mia here, and text the word weekly to subscribe to our new 1010XL newsletter and for a chance to win Jaguars and concert tickets. Get an inside look at local sports, trending players, station info, and chances to win prizes all year long.
There's certain places you know if you go in, they got what you're looking for, like Gate Convenience Stores and Cold Modelo's. That's the ticket. Or get on the craft side of things with something from Bold City or Sweetwater. Hit the cooler at Gate, full of choices and all of them good.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. This is XL Primetime, brought to you by Florida Home AC. Now that's cool on 1010XL.
I wonder what the boys at Florida Home AC are thinking about young Trevor Lawrence being left out of the top 10 with the ESPN top 10 quarterbacks. Well, he probably feels like he's got a little something to prove, and the injuries, the turnovers, they all kind of added up on him and against him. He was 8th last year. So let's hit the top 10, Leon and Coach. And then I want to mention real quick where he is at right now and what you guys think can kind of change the narrative, the opinion of Trevor. Pat Mahomes, a no-brainer, number 1. Joe Burrow, number 2. Josh Allen. Those guys were top 3 in that order a season ago. Lamar Jackson, 4th. Matt Stafford, 5th. Justin Herbert, then C.J. Stroud, Aaron Rodgers, 8th. Jared Goff, 9th. And Dak Prescott, 10th. So Dak Prescott, some people feel like he kind of got shafted just a little bit. Now, Leon and I talked about this yesterday. Before we get to where Trevor is, what do you think about those top 10 quarterbacks that you just heard, Coach?
I think they might be the top 10. I mean, I really think that group of quarterbacks is pretty darn good. And I think talent-wise, you could put Trevor in there. In other words, he probably fits in that. But I'm not sure who you would pull out of there at this point, especially with the way it's gone for Trevor. Mm-hmm. Now, I know where he came in.
Yeah.
Okay? No way is he there, in my opinion.
No, as far as the quarterbacks go, I think the one guy that probably got shafted, so to say, is Tua. I mean, you can't put the number up that Tua had and not have him in the top 10. I think Lamar Jackson at number 4 is a little too low, to be quite honest with you. Because, I mean, you've got two guys in front of him. Of course, Patrick Mahomes sits at top, but you got Josh Allen and Joe Burrow, who have 0 MVPs. Mm-hmm. Absolutely no doubt. Now, Joe Burrow took a team to a Super Bowl, which I don't have a problem with, but I'm talking about the two guys in front of him as far as Joe Burrow and Josh Allen. They don't have any MVPs. I mean, Lamar Jackson, I think, if anything, he should be at least 2 or 3, not 4. Yeah, not behind both of them. Maybe 1, but not both.
Yeah, he's a 2-time hardware holder.
He is.
And so that's a good one. Dak maybe being left at the bottom because of the way the season ended for Dallas. You certainly could point out that. He had a tremendous year last year.
He did.
And then the Justin Herbert question. I would have a problem with Justin Herbert being inside the top 10 with an injury-riddled and a season that ended early for Justin Herbert. Mm-hmm. They still love his skill set. All right, so number 16 here in Duval is 16th, according to the polling that they did when they put this story together. So you know what that means. 16 is middle of the road. It's average. It's smack dab in the middle of 32 NFL teams. Now, real quick, just above him, you mentioned Tua. Mm-hmm. He was a guy that was left out, but this is at least the order that they are putting it. And basically they say honorable mention, but it's not done in alphabetical order. So I'm just going to assume this is the order they chose to put them in. Brock Purdy, right outside the top 10, then Jordan Love, then Jalen Hurts, and then Trevor Lawrence.
Well, I mean, Trevor did it to himself. Yeah. I mean, rightfully so. I mean, he played average at best at times. He was injured, and he tried to play hurt a lot of times, but he still had the turnovers. I'm not, like Coach says, the interceptions don't bother me. It's the fumbles lost.
Right.
You know, that's what bothers me. It was the fumbles lost. Now, he had issues with the offensive line and protections and breakdown protections, and then their inability to run the football, which could have helped cater to Trevor in the passing game or whatever. So there's so many different variables to why Trevor played the way he played, but facts are the facts. You know, he played average. And listen, I always go back to TC, and now he's got the money. I call him Mr. 275. Now he's got the money. And TC told me when I got the money, hey, listen, we ain't paying you to play average.
Right.
Those average days have got to be gone. He's got to play at an elevated level week in and week out.
So this gets to our play hungry because he did get paid. But
yeah, and to be honest with you, just what I've observed of this guy is that he can get a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. He's shown that, okay? So that's there. But in reality, he is one of those guys kind of, in my opinion, kind of like Beck.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to play the same, in my opinion, whether he has all that money or he didn't have the money.
Mm-hmm.
I think he doesn't care whether he's ranked, in my opinion, deep down inside. He knows talent-wise he belongs in that top 10. Now, it's like Leon said, he's got to prove that to everybody because it hasn't gone as well as everybody thought it was going to go to this point.
Yeah, and look, criticism will come your way along with the compliments. It's just the way it goes. And the quarterback position is reviewed, scrutinized, criticized more than any other position in sport.
Yeah. One other thing, you guys weren't here last week on
Friday.
On Friday, and we had Warren Moon on.
Mm-hmm.
What a great interview! I don't know if you heard it, on demand or whatever. But he made this comment, which I really we talk about it all the time. Quarterback position in the game of football. There's no more important position in any team sport in the world but it's also the most dependent on everybody around him.
It's a good way to put it.
And that was, it really resonated because that has something to do with where a quarterback ranks.
Yeah, it's so funny. He's the key to everyone else's success, but everyone else's success is the key to his success.
Yep.
Because if they don't do their job, he's not going to look any good. The guys up front blocking,
Those
if they don't
guys
do
right there.
Yeah. And it's so funny because you can talk about a pitcher. You don't see a pitcher every game. They go through a rotation. You got offense and defensive guys in the game of football. You got offense and defense being played by all Major League Baseball players, by all NBA players, set aside, of course, the pitchers. And so everyone has something to do with someone else's success, yet that quarterback position is reviewed and reviewed and reviewed.
And you know, when you lose, he gets a lot of the blame.
Yeah.
Rightfully so, because he is that guy. But one of the reasons you lose is some of the guys around the team that loses is not as good as he is. So, I mean, it's really an interesting phenomenon.
You can take Leon's position, and he was an all-pro, Pro Bowler, and you bring up his days in Pittsburgh, and they may say, well, he played in a Super Bowl. But if they look at Neil O'Donnell, they'll go, he didn't win a Super Bowl. And so they don't blame you, they blame him.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Actually, he was worthy of the blame, though, that time.
Oh, absolutely. No doubt.
Some of our zone blitzes.
Yeah, that too.
But like we have said, Dan Marino, you can't have a conversation that does include someone saying, well, he doesn't have a ring. And it's just the way it is.
And I have to give Leon some props here now because I did steal those zone blitzes from Dick LeBeau.
It's all good. You use our own magic against us.
Yeah, and you know what? What do they say? Thievery is the sincerest form of flattery.
It is.
That's exactly
Absolutely.
what it is. All right, we're going to see if we have Matt back just to finish up the show. But he's probably running around, so let's just go ahead and knock this out right now, RJ.
Now, the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
Oh, well, my takeaway is SEC meeting day, and I heard some conversation about the fact that they think Georgia is down. That's almost laughable to me, and I'm sure that Kirby Smart and Carson Beck are going to use that as motivation this year. So I don't think Georgia's lost any of its luster or its shine, so watch out.
My takeaway is listening to the coaches at the SEC meetings really kind of got me juiced up a little bit. And then you add the fact that rookies are starting to come into the league.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, it's football.
You got it. My takeaway is I looked down at the text line, and I am reminded from one of our texters, you guys were talking about going back in time and if Notre Dame and Miami would have been able to play again, what the outcome would have been. The texter says, get over it, you two. Cleveland Gary fumbled.
No, he did not.
I figured that would get you fired up one more time because I agree with you guys. He did not. And they didn't have instant replay.
Did not. No, they didn't.
And high-def cameras and all that stuff back then.
Listen,
and it was a sea of humanity.
Listen, all you had to do was check the IDs of the referees during the game.
Yeah, no kidding. The guys
sure had
on
South Bend
the
on
chain guys.
Oh, yeah. And it will always be that way. That's the beautiful part of the human error, even though you guys were on the wrong side of that one. So you would be all for instant replay and getting it 100% correct.
Absolutely. Or putting a chip in the football like they're talking about doing.
Yeah, heck, they were talking about some of the rules today at the SEC media days. They were talking about trying to fix targeting, the timeout rule, which they're basically, or not the timeout rule, but the 2-minute warning, where they're bringing that from the NFL into the college football game. And they're going to just try and create another opportunity for a commercial break, but then also use it that the players will get a little bit of a breather. They'll get a little bit of a reset moment before the big moment.
To go down the stretch.
Yeah, right before the half. Yeah. So we'll see whether it creates memories for us, because a 2-minute warning in the National Football League, I do think means something.
Oh, it does.
You guys get into your 4-minute offense, your 2-minute drill, or whatever it might be.
Yep.
And that part of it I do like.
Yep.
And so I don't mind this coming into the college football game. We'll see whether it helps or changes maybe some of the way these games end. All right, real quick, before we end, Frangie Show will be coming up. So tomorrow we have Alabama with now Kalen DeBoer coming in as one of the newest members of the SEC, taking over for Nick Saban after 17 seasons in Tuscaloosa. We got Jeff Levy, brand new head coach at Mississippi State, Florida with Billy Napier, who I'm sure Frank will say this in just a little bit, 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. He's expected to join the Frangie Show. And then Steve Sarkisian. Sarkisian is going to come in with a little hype and fanfare, that's for sure, after making it to the college football playoff. All right, looking forward to it, fellas.
All right, let's do it.
We will do it tomorrow. We say thanks to Beaver Chevy, Beaver Toyota. You can definitely count on them any day of the week. They're there to wow you. Make sure you check out Beaver Chevy on Phillips Highway or online at beaverchevrolet.com and beavertoyota.staugustine.com in the AUG right there on US 1. Joe C., Big Searce, Maddie in Dallas, Coach Campo, RJ, take it away. We got the Frangie Show coming up next.
Everyone wants to doubt Jacksonville. Never doubt Jacksonville.